This
Yes.
conference will now be recorded.
Yes.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining. So let's get started. So, what we have done so far, just to give you a recap, we subscribed with Microsoft Azure, free trial for 30 days. Then we created a couple of servers. We created a domain controller and then added all the computers to the domain in one data center. We have created another virtual network and computers in another data center, which we'll be talking about later. And later on, we installed .NET 3.5 in the database server, and that's a prerequisite to install SQL Server. Then we install SQL Server, and then we um, installed WADK 8.1, WADK on SCCM roles and features on SCCM. So we did the installation of SQL Server. We did the installation of WADK on SCCM and all the roles and features, whatever needed for a server to become a primary site server. Now, today we are planning to do a couple of more things like create system management container in Active Directory, grant full permission uh, on that container. SCCM will have full permission on that, and extend Active Directory schema. Now, why do we need that? So let me just give you a background. Currently, we have a LAN network that's there in central US data center LAN network, and we created a couple of virtual machines. So this is going to be domain controller. Second one is SCCM. Third is database, and the other one is, I think, Windows 10 client. Okay, and all of them are joined to the same LAN network. All of them are connected. Now, for when you join any computer, let's say you have thousands and thousands of computers out there, and all of them are joined to the same network, right? Now, when you join any computer with the domain is we have lab.com, right? So suppose if I join this computer to the domain, what will happen? This computer will get couple of information like DNS related information, uh, domain controller related information, right? The server name, if you have multiple forest or multiple domains, all those forest and domain related, and the authentication between the domain and the server. So it gets all of all those things. But what about the SCCM thing? Suppose if the devices needs to take SCCM related information, the devices will have to look for those details on the same network, or you will have to specifically provide those details during the installation of SCCM agent. So to overcome this challenge, what we do in domain controller, we have one component called Active Directory. What is Active Directory, guys? Any idea?
It's a collection of all the information, right? All the user and computer information that are on the network.
Right. So it's a database, right? Which contains those information. Now, in that Active Directory, we are gonna create one container called System Management. Now, System Management will be present in Active Directory, and SCCM site servers will be putting all the information of SCCM related stuff to this container. So this container will act like a publisher. SCCM will publish all the information in system management container. And the moment you join any computer to the domain now, they will also get SCCM related information. So where is the management point? Where is the distribution point? Where is the secondary site, fallback status point? All those details they can get it from Active Directory system management container. Clear? That's the main purpose of system management. And system management, who is going to use system management? Who will be dumping the information there? Anyone?
SCCM.
Yes. So SCCM will be publishing all its uh, you know information in system management container. So SCCM needs read and write access on that container. Then only it will be able to dump the information. So that's the reason we need these things. Even though this is not mandatory, but um, you do it because for devices to take the SCCM related stuff, it will be very easy, and they don't have to look for they don't have to go to a different location and get the SCCM related, or you don't have to manually specify the SCCM related stuff. So we create SCCM, we create system management container in Active Directory, and we grant full permission to system SCCM to that container, so that SCCM can publish the information. So whether it is primary site, secondary site, or central administration site, you will have to give full permission on that container. Now extend schema of Active Directory. Why do we need to extend schema? What is Active Directory schema? Any idea? Anyone?
I guess because we're going to be connecting to different forests, right, and different networks. So we got to extend the schema.
Um, Schema is like a database class and attributes. Okay, it contains classes and attributes. So basically, user is a class, and the attribute of the user is username, user employee ID, user's manager's name, user mobile number, user telephone number, user's home address, right? So that's the class. Similarly, system is a class, right? So system contains attributes like computer name, IP address, MAC address, um, creation date, OS installation date, OS information. So system is a class, and system attributes, system information is the attributes. So schema is like a table of those classes and attributes. So Active Directory schema is there, which contains those classes and attributes. So when you install the Active Directory, so it comes with default schema. So it will have couple of class and attributes, right? For system, users, security groups. Now, this default class and attribute can only put the information about the class and attribute which are present here, not about SCCM. It cannot contain anything related to SCCM. So you will have to extend the schema. So you need to add couple of tables here in Active Directory, and couple of classes and attributes here. And this is gonna be only for SCCM. And the moment you add anything in a schema in Active Directory, we call it extended schema. And this is gonna be only for SCCM class and attribute. Any confusion here, guys? Anyone?
Makes sense.
So that is the reason we do the extension of schema. Okay. So we will do these steps, step number 8, 9, 10. Then we'll go ahead and um, do the installation of, we'll do wsys installation for patching. Point number 15 is going to be install SCCM. So let me take this to the day 3. Okay. So I'll make Jaswinder as a presenter. Or Jaswinder is there? No, I think he's not there. Okay, Mohan, I'll make you as a presenter.
Yeah, sure.
Mohan, you there? Okay, I can see his screen now. Okay, so I want you to connect to the SCCM server. So just to give you a background, Dheeraj, we have 3 servers. One is database, other one is domain controller, and the third one is SCCM, which we are going to make it as a primary site server. Okay.
We are having a separate database server over there.
Yes, separate database.
Okay.
So that's what we do in the production environment, so that all the if you keep everything on the same server, then it will be a single point of failure sometimes. So just to be safe
Yeah,
in the
correct.
production environment, we always keep the database on a different server. Okay, so Mohan, we need to extend the schema of Active Directory and create a system management container. So to extend the schema of Active Directory, I think you have downloaded SCCM setup. Can you take me to the downloaded folder where you have downloaded SCCM setup? Yeah. So this is the one which you downloaded. You will have to create a folder here. Just create one folder, and we are going to use 1606. Okay. So type in SCCM setup 1606. Yeah, rename it to 1606. Now, no, okay, you pasted inside. No, I had to extract it. Can you take it take it back to the same location where it was present? Cut it from here. Okay, now right click on this, yeah, and run as administrator. Since this is yeah, click on browse. You need to extract it to the folder which you have just created. So choose download, and inside download choose 1606. Yeah, that one. Click OK and unzip. So basically this is not extracted yet. This is in RAR format or zipped format. We are extracting it. Okay. Now in the meantime, until it gets extracted, can you connect to the domain controller, please? Okay, on the domain controller, you need to create a container in Active Directory. So to create a container, you need to go to Active Directory's services interface, and that is ADSI edit. So click on tools, and click on ADSI edit on the domain controller, ADSI edit. Now this is the tool which helps you to connect to the Active Directory LDAP services. So right click on ADSI edit and connect to, and just click OK because the path is already set. We have only one domain. Yeah, click OK. So this is ADSI edit, guys. This is the, you can call it as a backend registry of Active Directory. So from here you can create container, you can modify the attributes and multiple things from here. So normally if you are connecting to this ADSI edit, you have to make sure that you know it has to be you have to make sure whatever you are doing is correct, otherwise it will create a lot of problem and Active Directory will not function properly. So click on default naming context at the left hand side and expand it, and click on DC equals Pepsi, yeah, and expand that one too, and choose CN equals system. Right click on CN equals system, so we have to create a container here under system. Right click on that and click on new and choose object and choose container in the list and click next. The name of the container is going to be system management, and it is case sensitive. You have to put exactly as it is. So S capital, the first character has to be, S is in capital letter, space, M capital, and then management. Okay, click next, finish. Now the container is created. You can close this and click, you open Active Directory user and computers. So tools and Active Directory users and computers. So those who are not doing it, they can watch this now, and later on they can watch the video and do it yourself. Okay, you have to perform the same step. Now Pepsi.com, expand that one, and click on view on the top and choose advanced feature. Expand this. Yeah, so expand system. Now we just created one container called system management, and that is showing up right there under system. Right click on system management container and click on delegate control. So we are delegating access on this container to SCCM primary site server so that SCCM can dump the information in this container. So this container will be used by SCCM server only. So next, add.
As of Dheeraj here,
Yeah,
just one query. We are doing this delegation for primary servers, and if we are putting up any secondary site server, so are
you will
we
have to do it.
do it
You
for
will
every
have,
site server as well?
yes, yes.
Okay,
Every primary, secondary, central administration site has to have full permission on this system management container.
okay, thanks.
And if you have multiple domains, suppose you have three domains, domain 1, 2, 3, and you are going to manage the devices of three domains from SCCM, you will have to do this step in all these three domains. Create a system management container, and you grant permission to the site servers there on different domains.
Okay,
Got it?
thanks. Thanks.
Okay, so no, you don't have to type in your username because it is not user who is going to dump the information, it is going to be the server. So you will have to type in the server name there. So what is the server name of primary site server? SCCM and object type should be computer. Check names, click OK. Next. Now you have options here: create and delete and manage users account. These are the um, default set of roles available which you can use, but I'm not going to use any of them. I'll choose create a custom task to delegate. Below, not in the list, below one. Create a custom task to delegate. Next. Now, what is the delegation control level? So the control will be, so SCCM server will have control on this folder, system management folder, inside the object which are already present, and it can also create a folder or files inside this container. So this kind of access we are providing, this kind of control. Next.
So, what is the best practice for doing this? We going with the custom, or we can
Custom.
go custom?
Custom, and choose full permission so that on that container it has read and write access, and click on next and finish. Suppose you have additional, click on finish. Suppose you have additional child domain, right, or additional domain controller. So this will be replicated on those domain controllers. Got it? So you don't have to do it
Okay.
on multiple domain controller. If you have done it on PDC, primary domain controller, you are all set to go. But if you have different domains, then you have to go there in different domain controller and do it, but not in the same domain. Now, so we created system management container, and this container is going to be used by SCCM. So we granted permission to SCCM. Now let's go back to SCCM server, and we need to extend the schema of Active Directory. So who can extend the schema of close it? Who can extend the schema of Active Directory? Anyone?
Domain admins, I suppose.
Hmm. Any idea, guys? Who who will have permission to modify the schema of Active Directory?
I'm assuming there's a schema admin user.
Right, right. The guy who has permission, who is a member of a schema administrator group, that will be able to modify the schema, not the domain admins. Okay. Now, the account which you are logged in, Mohan or anyone, is the member of a schema admin. So it's a high privilege account. So now to show you the schema, I'll take you to the Active Directory. So let's go back to SCCM again. I'll show you the class and attribute of Active Directory just to give you a, a background of schema, how it looks. But that is not mandatory. Are you on domain controller?
Yes.
No, I don't think so. You go back to domain controller, please. Yeah. Now, give me 1 minute. There is a command to register one's DLL. Okay. Schema DLL register. I'll just send it to you guys on the chat. But this is not mandatory, guys. You don't have to do it. Okay. But in case if you want to see yourself, then you may do so. I just pasted the command in chat. So you can copy that command and put it on a notepad on the domain controller. Notepad. Okay. Now open command prompt with admin, right click on start and run as administrator. Yeah, admin one. Yeah. Now type in MMC and hit enter. Now click on file and click on add remove snap-in. You see snap-in has the first one, Active Directory. Can you expand a little bit right so that we can see it, the name? Yeah. You see the first one, what does it say? Domain and trust, site and site servers. But it does not have a schema, right? Active Directory schema is not there. We cannot choose it. So that is in hidden mode actually. So normally if the Microsoft, the schema is hidden because they don't want people to have access to that until it is necessary. So we have to unhide that one. So copy the command which I have given, which is there on the notepad, and paste it in the command prompt. Paste and hit enter. Okay. Now you can go back to the MMC console, close this, and probably you will have to refresh You have option to refresh? No. Okay, so go file again, add remove snap in, and you should see the second option second one, that is Active Directory schema. So it is unhidden now. Previously it was hidden, so click on add and OK. And then expand this Active Directory schema and expand. You see this schema has classes and attributes. Okay, so you have classes. So can you expand that classes, please? It's nothing but a database table, guys. Okay, which has multiple classes and attributes. Now click on classes. Just left click on classes. Okay. Now don't create any class. Okay, until you have the exact class details. So these are the classes in an Active Directory. Now we need to add a couple of classes for SCCM and a few attributes so that Active Directory can store class and attribute, those SCCM related stuff in those class and attributes. So to do that, first of all, you check whether the class is present or not. So just type in MS SMS. I think that is the class name, starts from MS SMS. Do you have any class starting from MS SMS? Nothing? Can you check any attributes, please? Collapse this classes and click on attributes and look for MS SMS. You don't have, right? Now, so these are coming with the default classes and attribute. In case you are installing Exchange Server or SCOM, you also need to extend the schema of Active Directory because this is having only the default ones. So let's go back to SCCM again. And in SCCM, open this folder where you have extracted SCCM setup. And go to SMS setup bin x64, and then one file is there, one executable called ext. Just type in ext and you will get it, ext adsc ext. Yeah, so this is an application which helps you to extend the Active Directory classes, SCCM classes and attributes in Active Directory. So right click on this and run as administrator. And you can run this from any domain joined computer, but the account must be an schema admin. Then only you will be able to successfully add, otherwise you will not be able to do it. So let's go to this PC and go to C drive of this computer, and it will show you what all classes and attributes it has added successfully. Double click on the last one, the log file. So you see it is showing you that attribute cn equals ms sms site code, site boundaries, roaming boundaries, default management point, default device management point. These are the classes and attributes it has added which were not present in Active Directory schema. Got it? Now let's go back to the domain controller, and we will see those now in the classes and attribute list. Type in MS SMS. MS SMS. Go down, you would see that. Just type in on the keyboard MS SMS, you will get it. Probably you will have to refresh it then. Look in the attribute section. Attribute, please. Go down. MS SMS. You have to type in something like that. MS SMS. Can you close this and open again this? Click yes. Okay, no worries. Just cancel it and open again the MMC console. Schema. You need to take the schema. Yeah, second one. Just type in MS SMS. You got it? Now the site code, the SMS server locator point. So all those things which are starting from MS SMS, those are SCCM related classes. And you also have some attribute got added. So go to attributes and check SMS, MS SMS. Site code, site boundaries. Yeah. Clear, guys? Any confusion? Anyone? Isis?
Nope, I'm following through.
Okay. So we have extended the schema of Active Directory, created the system management container, and granted full permission to that. Now we'll install WSUS. WSUS is a component which helps you to do the patch deployment. So basically, the purpose of WSUS is to scan all the computers against the patches which it gets from Microsoft Update Server, and then it also has a database wherein after scanning the computer, it updates the database about the status of the devices. That device A contains how many patches, device B contains how many patches, and it will scan and verifies whether the whether some patches are required on the devices or some patches are already installed or not applicable, depends on the patches it has available. So WSUS talks to the Microsoft Update Server, bring the patches, then against those patches it scans all the devices and updates the database, and based on that you can deploy the patches on the target devices. Okay, So either you can patch the you can deploy the patches through WSUS, standalone WSUS, or you may integrate WSUS in SCCM server through software update point. So to do that, first of all, we'll have to create one folder in. So you need to decide where do you need to um, create the WSUS server. Where do you need to install it? So normally in production environment, we keep it separate, not on the primary, not on the database, not on the domain controller. We'll have a separate server for WSUS, and that server will be acting on, we will be doing the patch deployment task. So we do not load primary site server with patch deployment task as well. But in Azure, we have the limitation that we can create only 4 servers in one region, or you may create one more server in different region, and we can do the we can create a server for patch the WSUS and then integrate WSUS in SCCM using software update point. But now in the lab environment, what we are going to do is we'll have the WSUS on the primary site server itself. So let's go ahead and on the SCCM server, and close this server manager or minimize it. Go to C drive, normally you keep uh, do it on a shared location, but you don't have any shared location here. So we are going to create one folder. So right click here, create one folder. So we can give it a name as source, anything of your like, but I'll be dumping all application and patches and the operating system, everything in this container, in this folder. So I'll just say source. Inside that source, create another folder called WSUS, and go back to C drive and right click on source and share with specific people, and give everyone as read access. Just click on drop down, you will see everyone there. Read write anything of your choice, just click on share. Basically it has to be read only because other will not have access, only the read access will be there. In the production we keep it read. Okay, done. So this becomes a shared location. Now double click on this source, double click on WSUS and copy the path from the top. Now for WSUS, you have to have a requirement that you must have a database. Um, that is, you can use SQL database or you can use an internal database. But SQL database is more reliable and it is widely used. You can also use the internal database, that's also okay, but feature and functionality wise, SQL database is better than the internal database. So that's the reason we do it. We create the database on the SQL server rather than internal database. So and you have to have IIS installed on the server where you are installing WSUS. So we have already installed IIS. So click on Server Manager. Click on Local Server. Can you turn off the firewall, please? If you are not turning off the firewall, then you will have to create an exception. Okay. Basically, it works on port 8530 and 8531 ports. Okay. So if you have a HTTP connection, then with the client, then client will make the connection with 8530. If you have HTTPS connection with the clients, then 8531. These are the two ports WSO supports. Now go to Manage and go to Add roles and features, and next. Next. Now choose WSOs in the list down. Last one, add feature. So all associated feature will be installed with this. Next. Next. Now you have option to select the database. Now first one is Windows internal database. We are not going to choose Windows internal database. We will choose the SQL database. So uncheck the first one and check the last one. And WSO service will be created here on this server. WSO service is a prerequisite. It has to be there and running state. Then only it will perform the task. Otherwise, it will not function at all. So we'll leave them as it is. Next. Now this is the location which stores update in this location. So you can paste the file which you have just copied, the location. So on this location you can store the updates. Next. Now it needs a database server name. You need to give the database server name. What's your database server name? DB. Give the fully qualified domain name, db.lab.com or pepsi.com, whatever it is. I don't know. Check connection. And next. And also you must have port 1433 and 4022 on the database for enabled. Otherwise it is not gonna help. Okay. Install. So let's go to database. In database, you click on start. Downward arrow. Look for SQL Management Studio at the right hand side. You have no, scroll right. You have green icon. Yeah. So this is the tool which helps you to access the database, guys. You need to just click on connect. Now expand databases. It will list down what all databases are present. So it has just the report server and report server DB. These are the only two default databases are available. We have to create couple of databases. So one database for SCCM primary site server and another database for WSUS. Okay. So these are the two databases which are going to be created. Now let's go back to the primary site. And let me know if the installation is completed. Yes. So installation of WSUS is done. You just close this. Now you need to do some configuration here. So first of all, open right click and open command prompt with admin and type in services.msc. Go down till the bottom and choose WSUS service. You got one service got created here. WSUS service. The last one. The last one. You see that is in disabled mode at the moment. A service got created successfully, but that is not going to help until you enable it. So right, double click on this and put it in automatic. That means even server is restarted, this service will get restarted automatically. Apply and go to dependency and it will, okay, so it will tell you the dependent service. So if WSUS is not working properly, you can also check these dependent services, whether they are working properly, they are in running state or not, background and COM event and remote procedure call. So these are the dependent services. So just click on OK and minimize it. Yeah, you can start or automatically it will get started when we do the configuration. No worries. You just minimize it because it is still in starting mode. That's the reason you got this error. You need to click on this yellow flag window, yeah, the icon, yeah, the exclamation mark, and click on launch post installation task. Now it will create a virtual directory. WSUS IIS website will be created and a database will be created. So let's go to IIS, click on tools and click on Internet Information Services and expand SCCM PS. Yeah, just click on no or anything of your choice. Click on expand sites. So whatever the sites which this server is hosting, all those sites are under this site container. Expand default sites. So currently this default site does not have anything apart from the default content. We'll be creating a couple of sites like management point, distribution point. We will create one self-service portal. All those website will be created under default ones. Now the WSUS one is having another website called WSUS administration. This is the virtual directory which does all the communication between the client and the server. So everything has to be done through this website. So expand this. Okay. So the devices and the server communicates through this virtual directory. The devices will be communicating to WSUS server on HTTP colon slash slash the server name and the port number. Okay. So you have at the right hand side you see browse 8530 and 8531, right? So click on 8530 and open Internet Explorer. It's opened already. Click on Internet Explorer icon. Okay, so it is connecting to localhost 8530. So that's fine. It looks fine. 8530 is the port working. So that means it is not going to a different port. 8530 is the port which is for WSUS communication. Now let's go back to Server Manager and see if that configuration is ready or not. The launch post installation task. Click on the flag one. So it's successfully installed. The feature installation configuration required installation succeeded on sccmps.com. And now go to database. It has also created a database. So I'm just giving you a background, guys, what all things you have to verify when you are performing these tasks. So refresh, right click on databases and refresh. You see the another database got created, SUSDB. Clear? Anyone has any confusion so far? Okay, so let's go back
That's it,
to
Dheeraj. If we are not able to see this database, this
hmm,
SysDB database, so we need to attach it or we need to create it.
if you are not able to see it, that means WSUS did not create the database successfully. It failed to create the database. Got it?
No, my question was that let's assume that WSUS is working perfectly, but all of a
Uh-huh.
sudden, when we was having a problem in the production environment, and
Uh-huh.
when we do WSUS maintenance, after that we see that we are not able to see SSDB database.
Yeah. So if you don't see the database and database was present already, you can attach it, reattach the database. That's not a problem.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so minimize this and go back to SCCM server. And I think we have completed all the setups what were needed to make a server as a primary site server. Let me see if we have missed any. Yeah, one more thing is required, and that is SCCM primary site has to be the local administrator of database. SCCM primary site and the secondary site has to be the local administrator of all the site servers. Got it? So let's since database is going to be our one of the SCCM site server. So go to database and put SCCM primary site in the local admin group of database. So right click on start and click on computer management and expand local admin, local user and groups. Double click on administrators, add object types gonna be computer, click OK and put the SCCM primary site server name there. Check names. OK and apply OK. So SCCM is now the administrator of database. Clear? Now one more thing is just minimize it and go to SCCM server. We will start installation of SCCM now. We have completed all the prerequisite, whatever needed so far. Now go to the folder where you have downloaded the setup, SCCM setup. C drive, I think it's in download folder, and you extracted it in another folder. Yeah. So double click on this splash. Click on the green arrow down at the bottom. Click on install. We are installing version 1606 that was released in the year 2016, June 2016. This version was released. Next. Now these options are available. If you are installing a primary site, you need to choose the first one. In case if you are installing a central administration site, you need to choose the second one. Third one is to upgrade a site from previous one to the latest one. Let's say 2012 is already present and you are installing the latest one 1606 on the primary site server, then you need to install the choose the third option. Recover a site when the site crashed due to some reason and you are recovering a site from the backup um, files, then you choose recover a site. Perform site maintenance, that will help you to complete wiping off the data, and it will be like uh, reset to default, like when you wipe your mobile and it will come as, when you factory reset of your device, it will come as plain and blank unconfigured device. So it will be unconfigured SCCM when you do um, perform the maintenance or reset this site. Okay. And uninstall in case if you don't want to install, if you want to remove SCCM which is already present, you can use that option. These are the options available. Now since we are going to install our primary site, and that's going to be a standalone primary site, so first one is install a config manager primary site. So just leave that as it is and next. We don't have license key, so choose evaluation, first option, and next. Accept the license terms and go next. Now SCCM needs a latest language pack. Microsoft is developing, Microsoft is releasing SCCM in multiple languages like Today, if it is present in 10 different languages, tomorrow it may be present in 15 different languages. So Microsoft recommends to take the latest language pack from Microsoft website. So let's download one. Let's create one folder on the desktop called SCCM latest language pack. Latest language pack. And double click on that and copy the path from the address bar and paste the path here in the text box. Copy and put the path here. So the files will be downloaded in that folder. Click next. So it's downloading the server and client languages. Whatever the languages Microsoft has released so far for SCCM. Double click on latest language pack and you can see the languages which are getting downloaded. So server languages, CHS, Hungarian, French, Italian, Japanese. Then now it is downloading the client language. Okay. So it's gonna take a couple of minutes to download all the languages. It's also downloading SQL Express from the internet. SQL Express is needed for secondary site to write in the same database where primary site is writing. Now the language, server language is English. We are not going to choose any different language. So English is fine. Next. The client language is also going to be English. Next. Now this is an important point to note. Site code. Every site, whether it is primary, secondary, or central administration site, every site has to be identified with a site code. Site code will be a 3-character alphanumeric or character anything alphabet. You can choose like PS1 or ABC, anything of your choice. Um, that depends on you. So you can type in where is this located. Can you minimize it and go to the Azure portal, please? Close this. Yeah, virtual machine. Yeah. Now this is located in central US. So we'll give something like the location wise. You can choose anything of your choice, but I'm just trying to simulate it as a production environment. Okay. So let's choose CUS as a central US primary site. And the site name is going to be central US primary site because we'll be creating a couple of secondary sites. So in different location, central US primary site as capital. Okay. Site. Yeah. Now the installation folder, C drive, normally in production environment, you keep it on a different folder altogether, but we don't have multiple folders here, so multiple drives, so let it be in C drive. And install a config manager console. The console is to access SCCM. Without console, if you don't have console, then you will have to access it through PowerShell. Uh, the GUI will not be available, so we'll leave that checked. Next. Now, the first option, in case you already have a central administration site and you are installing this primary site and joining it to the central administration site, then you will have to enter the central administration site server name there, the existing one. We don't have anything existing one, so we'll click on install a primary site as standalone. Now, previously in 2007, in till 2012 SCCM, the once the hierarchy is defined during the installation, that you will go without a central administration site or you will go with the central administration site. You did not have the feasibility to modify the hierarchy. But now it is giving you the feasibility that later on you can join it to a central administration site. But that was not the case before, till 2012. Okay, it was added in a 2012 SP2 that you can add it to, you install a primary site, but later if you want to join it to a central administration site, you can join it. But previously it was not the case. So that's the warning message. That's in notification. It says that you have selected to install this site as a standalone primary site. You can expand this site into a hierarchy to a later time by installing a central administration site. So later on you can install a central administration site and you can join this primary to the central administration site. So it is saying, do you want to continue? Yes. So just giving you a message um, to let you know that you can do it later as well. Now it needs a database. Primary site needs a database, right? So we'll have to give the database server name there in the first box, database.pepsi.com, because we are not having the database on the same box. The first box is the SQL server name, right? Database.pepsi.com, that's the FQDN. Okay, so it's DB. Okay, whatever it is. And instance, if you are going with a named instance, then only you have to give the instance name. Otherwise, if you are running with MS SQL Server instance, so leave it blank. Database name, it is going to create this database. CM is config manager underscore the site code which you have selected, CUS. Okay, we'll leave that as it is. 4022 is the port which is going to be used on the database server to do the communication with SCCM server. So next. This is the location when the transaction will happen between SCCM and the SQL database. All those transaction logs will be saved on this location. So leave that as it is. Next. Now, if you remember in the first session, we discussed about SMS provider. SMS provider is an interpreter between SCCM and database. So it sits in between database and SCCM. So whatever the things SCCM has to put in in database, it sends it to SMS provider. Provider converts it to SQL language and feeds into the database. So it is asking, where do you want to install this role? This is a hidden role. You can't see this role, but it has to be present um, uh, to do the communicate to make the communication happen between SCCM and database. So we'll install it on the SCCM primary site server. Next. Now the first option is says the communication method. How will be how will the communication happen between the server and the client, SCCM server and the SCCM agent? How the communication will be established on HTTPS connection. So HTTPS is secured connection. You will have to have a certificate from the certificate authority, and you will have to install the certificate on the server and the client both. Then only the connection can be established uh, between the devices, right? This option is normally selected in in company where the devices are coming, where the devices are outside on the network. For example, the work group computers are there, or some devices connecting from internet, not on the LAN network. So those devices can come and talk to the SCCM server through secured connection, and it has to have a certificate. But in our production, in our environment, everything is on the LAN network. All communication is happening internally. So we are not going to choose that one. You will use the second option, configure the communication method on each site role. So we can configure it, depends on our requirement. Okay, HTTP or HTTPS, whatever it is. But HTTP does not need a certificate. HTTPS needs certificate on server and client level both, which we will talk later. Next. Now you have option to install management point and distribution point both on the same server. But in production environment, you keep it on a different server altogether. So basically, you don't load up SCCM primary site server with multiple uh, things like management point and distribution point. It will have a separate server doing the task. But since we have a limitation of servers, we'll leave them as it is. We are going to install database, distribution point and management point both on the same server. So leave that as it is. Next. Next. Now this is another optional role, that is service connection point. Service connection point is basically when you start SCCM, it will go out to the internet and check if any new update is available for SCCM on the Microsoft portal. If it is available, then it will give you a pop-up that the new version of SCCM is available, to check, to keep you updated. So, and the another role of um, this role is to integrate Intune in SCCM. So without this role, you will not be able to integrate Intune, Microsoft Intune mobile device management in SCCM. So leave it as it is. Let's get connected and go next.
Asif, I have a query here.
Yeah.
What if I want to make a DP separately or a management point separately? From where do I start with, basically?
So you don't uncheck these, you don't check these boxes. We have checked, right? We left it as it is. Then when you want to create a management point and distribution point on a separate server, first of all, you need a server, and then you create a site system server from
Mhm.
SCCM console itself, and there you will get option to install roles, and then you choose those roles.
Okay.
Okay, so which I'll show you later how that is done. Next. Now it's checking all the prerequisite. It will give you a warning message that database is running, does not have the recommended memory, because Microsoft SCCM recommends that you should have 8 gigabyte of memory reserved for uh, SCCM task to perform in the database server. But the memory which we have given is 3.5 only, right? The RAM is not 8 gigabyte, it is just 3.5 gigabyte. That's what it is saying. We can also resolve this warning by just tweaking a memory in the memory section of SQL database. So let's go to database. But this is just a workaround. But normally in production environment, you keep a database server with high memory, at least 16 gigabyte of RAM. So right click on the database on the top, and go to properties on the first one. No, on the first one. And go to memory section. Now suppose you have 16 gigabyte of RAM in this um, computer, then you reserve 8 gigabyte of memory at least for SCCM task. So minimum and maximum. So give minimum 8192 and maximum 8192. So, but this is not just like tweaking it. Basically, we don't have the memory 8 gigabyte. We just have 3.5, but we are giving it. So in case later, after some time, we increase the memory to 32 gigabytes. So minimum and maximum memory is already set. Click OK and go back to SCCM server. Run check. It should check again, and you should not have any warning message and no error message. Okay, guys. So we have resolved all the warnings and all the prerequisite. So basically, it was checking whether we have set all the prerequisite tasks properly or not. Like the system management container is there or not. SCCM has full permission on that container or not. WADK is installed or not. A schema of Active Directory is extended or not. All those prerequisite tasks, and it returned that all things looks fine. You just click on begin install. That's it. So now it is installing SCCM. It's gonna take at least 1.5 hours from now. So you leave all these servers as it is, when database, domain, and SCCM, all three servers has to be up and running. And then after 1.5 hours, I think from now, it should do the installation. And once the installation is completed, you can stop the service. Clear, guys? Everyone? Anyone has any
Yes.
questions so far? Isaac?
No questions. I'm gonna rewatch the video and do it step by step because I lost
Yeah.
connectivity. But yeah, I'll do that tomorrow morning early.
Okay. As fine. So
Are we
watch the
making
video. I'll be uploading the video on the Google Drive and send the link to you guys. Then you can download or watch them and do a step by step. So when we meet in the next session, I want everyone to have the SCCM installed.
so are we meeting tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning, I don't think so, but I'll update you guys on the WhatsApp group.
Let me wait tonight because like then only we can have a schedule now. Today I got a message at 7 o'clock in the morning. Then it becomes difficult to engage myself in such a way. At
Yeah, I'll
least give me.
update on the WhatsApp. Yeah, on the WhatsApp, I'll be updating in the evening. But I
Yeah,
hopefully we will not have a session tomorrow. Let's not have the session tomorrow. Tomorrow is we won't have any session. Okay.
sure. Can you please send the links ASAP so that we can try it? I'll miss
Uh,
the
sure. One more thing
and
I
download set
wanted to.
today. We need download links also if you have none today. We will need that as well.
Jaswinder,
Yes.
okay, you are on the WhatsApp group. Who is missing in the WhatsApp group? Let me see. Mohan, you are not there in the WhatsApp group. Mohan, do you
No,
have
I'm
WhatsApp
there.
number? You are?
Yes.
I don't. Okay, Mohan. Yeah. I see you. Yogesh is not there. Okay, let me add Yogesh. Give me 1 minute, guys. Rakesh
Yeah,
is there?
just now I have sent.
Hmm?
Hello. Yeah,
Yeah,
just now I
Rakesh.
have sent a number to add a WhatsApp.
Different number or the same number which you were talking to me? Rakesh SCCM. Rakesh, I just added you.
No, it's
Let me know if
Yogesh.
you. Okay, Yogesh. Okay, is Rakesh also there on the call? 951818336674. Yogesh SCCM. So we are not meeting tomorrow, guys. We will not have any session tomorrow. Okay. Anyone has any question before we wrap it up?
So it should be Sunday or Monday,
That's
the
gonna
next session.
be Sunday evening for you.
Okay.
For you. For me, it is gonna be Monday morning.
Okay.
If you guys have any plan for Sunday, you can let me know on the WhatsApp group. Fine. I added you, Yogesh.
Asif,
Yeah.
to know what will be the timing? Are we having a daily classes or it will be a weekend classes? And
Monday morning we will meet. Tomorrow we
so
don't have any class.
we'll be having everyday class or everyday morning,
Every day, at least, yeah, at least 5 days a week, at least.
5 days a week. Uh, okay, but can we include Saturday, Sunday as well into 5 days so that maybe we can focus more because, as you know,
If we, if all are okay, I'm okay. That
I am
depends
okay.
on.
Yeah, I am
Okay.
also, but like just pre-inform. That'd be easy.
why I'm saying
No
is
worries.
because in weekdays we are already involved in a couple of things and lots of things from
Okay.
the office side, so we'll be much more free on the weekend, so we can focus more.
No worries. I'm okay. If you wanna do the session tomorrow, that I'm also okay with tomorrow's session, but uh, that depends on you guys. Okay. So everyone, please install SCCM before we meet in the next session. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. We'll meet again.
Also,
Okay.
Kasif, I'll be needing some information for my Azure subscriptions and all other details and videos and Google Drive links. So I hope you'll be
Okay.
sharing it in my mail.
Right. So Azure subscription, you have already done it, right? Or
No,
you are
not
doing it
yet.
locally? So you haven't started the. You started the. Okay. So you are Dheeraj. Dheeraj, you speaking,
Dheeraj,
right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought. Okay. I thought it just Vinder is there. Okay. Yeah. Sharing the. I'll be sending the email. You have
Okay,
to create your Azure subscription, and I'll send you the download links so that you can up and keep up and come to the speed.
sure. Okay,
Okay, guys. Thank you so much.
thank
We'll
you.
meet again. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.